Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast. We watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
I'm Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hello.
How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling dapper,
Oh, okay.
like a penguin.
Not the penguin, though.
He's dapper sometimes.
No, he's kind of ugly.
So that's kind of the thing, but yeah, he dresses
Well,
nice.
no, the thing's a Marvel character.
And Batman's a DC character.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, they existed in the same universe.
Did they?
There's the DC Marvel crossover universe.
I've never read those or seen it.
They fused a bunch of characters together from like each side.
Oh, ew.
So you get a bunch of, like, I think the Joker, I want to say, fused with...
Please be a cool Marvel villain and not some fuck ass.
No, I think it was Sabretooth.
Why?
And I think
that's a crazy one.
Because I think they wanted to call him Hyena.
Okay, that's really fucking stupid, but I kind of love it. That's insane. Sorry, I just thought I would get our obligatory Batman conversation into the podcast when you mentioned the Penguin. I kind of had to do it.
Yeah, Hyena. His name is Creed H. Quinn.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay, but he looks cool.
Does he? Okay, I've not seen this. Let me see.
Like, in a stupid way, but also in a fun way.
Okay, he does look a little cool. I will admit. It is stupid, but it is cool.
And
okay.
then there was Darkclaw, which is his arch nemesis, which is Batman and Wolverine.
Batman and Wolverine? I mean, that kind of goes hard.
It was a fun comic book run. Just because it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of stupid, like, fused characters, but that's fun.
Okay. We have stuff to talk about this week that is not news related. Well, I guess it is news to the audience, but not news for anyone else. We went to the convention last weekend.
Did we? Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is
Why
cool.
don't you tell me about it, Bob?
Why do I got to tell you about it? You were there.
Really?
You don't remember any of it, dog?
Nah,
Come on
I
now.
remember.
Oh, okay. He members.
I remember.
I guess we should start off with, like, who we got stuff signed by, who we got in lines for, what we thought of the overall experience. First of all, the lines this year were fucking ludicrous.
Yeah, so we went to Scarefest 16 this year. I'd been to Scarefest 15, and I'd also been to Scarefest 14. And what I can say about it is it's gotten bigger every year, which is really cool to see. Like, the first year I went, there was not a lot of people. And last year, when me and Bob went,
it was quite a few people.
It was a sizable crowd. I think it was basically at capacity for the space they had. The problem this year is they were in the same space, and they had maybe like 2 or 3 times as many people trying to get in there.
Insane amount of people.
And they were just not prepared for those numbers. So there was a lot of logistical issues that were really unpleasant.
Oh, yeah.
That hopefully they'll fix next year, because I can't deal with them again. For instance, we already had our tickets. All we had to do was get our phone signed, and they would give us a badge. We waited in that line 2 hours to get our badge.
And they didn't even scan the QR code. They just looked at it and said, yeah, here's a badge.
And there's no reason, like, scanning a badge like that should have taken
2 hours.
2 hours. And then, like, just re-entry, which is literally just walking in the door because we have badges and just going, here's my badge, took an hour each day.
Because the line was so long. Because people were lining up at, like, the midnight the day before.
Which is fine, whatever, you do that. But the line to re-enter, since we had the pass, should have not have taken an hour to move. It was objectively not that long. Additionally, I think part of the reason that happened is because there was a bunch of Scream people there.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard was there. I think he was the big draw for a lot of people. A lot of people were bringing kids. Skeet Ulrich was there.
Yep.
And then also Chris Sarandon.
Yep.
Who, super cool guy. He's also Jack Skellington, and I think there was a lot of people there because it's like everyone's favorite childhood movie. In either case, the combination of all that was really hard. Like, we couldn't see any of those guys because the line was like a day long.
I was about to say, unless you wanted to spend a whole day in line, or you had a VIP ticket, you get there early. You could not. There was no way.
I mean, Matthew Lillard had sign-up times, and like we were one of the first people in the door, like the second and third day, even though we waited in line like an hour or 30 minutes. But they were gone.
Sold out. Couldn't even sign up to maybe get a picture or an autograph.
And it was just one of those things where it was like, I can tell this wasn't set up for this amount of people. For instance, those lines, they were really long, but they threw them in the hallway, so it was very confusing.
Yeah, where the line was, where what started, where what ended.
So yeah, that wasn't great. But, as usual, a lot of great booths.
Oh, yeah.
If you're into, horror stuff, I'd really recommend going to a horror convention because the booths are really
They're
nice.
fucking sweet.
Bob got some stuff.
Yeah.
What you end up getting?
Let's see. So there's this particular designer, or I don't know, graphic artist, I don't know what to call him, that makes stuff that me and Ben really like. Like last year I bought a Halloween 2 poster from him. I bought some other stuff.
His name is Chris Butler Designs.
Oh, you have the sticker. I was wondering what you were going over there for. Yeah, that's his name, Chris Butler Design. Check him out. Really cool. Super nice people. So this year from them I bought a calendar with a different horror movie with a bunch of fun facts on it for every month.
Yeah, he does custom posters, so it's one of his custom posters on each month.
Yeah, really cool. And then I bought a Jason X poster because that's my favorite Friday the 13th film, which is really cool. I love it. Me and the lady working the booth got in an argument over it. And we were kind of going at it for a while because she also really likes Halloween 3, which was also enraging.
What was the one that really enraged you? It wasn't Halloween 3.
No, I think it was Halloween 5 or something. Or no, it was one of the new ones that she really liked. But I haven't seen them, so I was like, I can't argue with you about this one.
I thought she said she liked Jason.
Oh no, she liked fucking Friday 13.8.
Yeah, which is what? Manhattan?
Jason Takes Manhattan, yeah. Sucks.
And that got Bob really angry. But
yeah,
she was a fun person to talk to.
Yeah, no, but my point is they're really cool. So check them out on socials. They're they make really cool art. They make really cool posters and stuff.
Yeah.
I really like them.
I got 3 more this year. I have one from last year. I got a Mummy one last year. And I was like, let me complete the collection. So I got a Bride of Frankenstein poster. It has both Frankenstein and the Bride on it.
Yeah.
A Dracula one and thing from the Black Lagoon.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. I like their stuff. Then I ended up getting... So my girlfriend's birthday was last Friday as of recording this. So I picked up her birthday present that weekend. She really likes Little Shop of Horrors. So there was a dude with basically small custom Audrey 2s that were different colors and stuff. And I bought her one of those, which was pretty cool. And then a little ghost plushie that was really cute and some stickers and a pin. And then what else did I buy? I bought magic cards while we were there, which was a mistake. Well, okay, I won't say it was a mistake. I shouldn't have bought those magic cards. I should have bought different magic cards that were there that I didn't know were there yet. There was a dude selling the Duskmourn, which is the most recent set. The what is it called? Is it like a bundle box or whatever? But it's $100 and you get 9-10 packs, and then you get the spin down die and some posters and some custom cards. The coolest part about the custom cards is they're arted by the same guy that does the art for Goosebumps.
Yeah, they're horror themed this year.
Yeah, which was really cool. And that was kind of the whole point he was selling the set, is because it's a horror themed set. Horror convention makes sense.
Also, there's a bunch of nerds there that like magic.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I bought that box, and then an hour later, I walked by a dude selling the Chucky Secret Lair for $80. And you can't buy the Chucky Secret Lair. It's off. It was limited run. You bought as many as you wanted.
You should have bought it
Bought
anyways.
as many they sold. I shouldn't. Oh, okay. I should have bought that instead of the Duskmourn box, because the Chucky Secret Lair is so cool. But
You
I
should have
digress.
double dipped. Let's see. I got a witch shadow box from the witch.
It's so cool.
It's cool. It lights up. The guy there does custom exploded posters, so he layers them so they're 3D. That was cool. And then I got a bunch of Blu-rays.
Ben bought a lot of movies.
That's one of the big things I'll recommend for conventions if you pick up films. They're so much cheaper there.
It's such a deal.
Because, first of all, there's some scalpers. They probably burn some Blu-rays.
Well, we bought them. I think we bought all of our Blu-rays from the actual
So I'm gonna say
distributors' booths.
I usually don't go to them, but what I will go to are the distributor booths who are there, and they usually sell most of their Blu-rays at conventions half off.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them are $10. So I picked up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Got all of the Puppet Master series.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time at the Full Moon booth.
Primevals, which it was cool to find Primevals. We met
Charles Band,
who
was literally just chilling outside of their booth, by the way. There was no line of security. It was just Charles Band sitting at a table, and it was really, really cool.
So yeah, really good if you want movies. But then we also talked to people.
Yeah.
Charles Band was really cool to talk to.
He was so cool, dude.
Basically 15 people from the Hatchet franchise were there.
Yeah.
Which is an insane amount.
It was awesome, though.
But it's mostly because he grabbed a bunch of horror icons to play minor roles. But we talked to David Green for
His name's not David.
Is it not?
It's Adam.
It's Adam Green. You're right.
You think of David Gordon Green.
Am I thinking of David
the guy
Gordon
that
Green?
directed the new Halloween trilogy.
I'm bad with names.
I know.
But he was really cool.
Oh, he was so sweet, dude.
And then the big thing we did is we went to panels. And the panels are like the best part of a convention.
Oh, they're so much fun.
Because when they're good, they're great. Sometimes there's some lackluster panels. I was kind of disappointed this year because there was far less
Yeah, there weren't a lot.
than normal. I honestly think it's because the number of people there was so big. So it was just hard to get people to come down to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a lot of panels, people were like missing or would show up 15 minutes late. Like the Scream panel, which we didn't get to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Because the line started at like open time and there was people like sitting down an hour before the show started.
The line was completely covered the entire hallway before the panel even begun.
The fire marshal came and started kicking people out because there was
Yeah.
too many people in the room. Just not enough space for it.
And we tried to go, too.
But like Matthew Lillard, I know for a fact because I was on the floor, not in the panel, left the floor like 15, 16 minutes after it was supposed to start. So I can't imagine the panel started until he was there.
I mean, they had a 2-hour block for it.
But still, like the people were sitting in that room for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
But yeah, we went to some really cool ones. We went to a Fright Night panel, which
Friday
was
Night panel was good.
really fun because you could tell everyone there was friends.
Yeah.
We went to a director's panel, which was really cool.
The director's panel was fucking sweet. It was good last year, too.
Who was it? It was Adam Green,
Yep.
Tom Holland.
Mhm.
Who was the third one?
Greg Nicotero was there.
Greg Nicotero.
There was somebody else, right?
Yeah, who was it?
Am I losing my mind?
It wasn't Joe Dante because he didn't
No, it
come.
wasn't Don either. Don was still somewhere else.
I
There
don't-
was somebody else there. Why
I
I
don't
can't?
remember who
Oh,
it
it
was.
was Charles Band.
It was Charles
It was
Band.
Charles Band,
I forget he directs stuff because I think of him as like a distributor.
the owner of Full Moon.
But yeah, that was really cool.
Oh, such a good
We got
panel.
to hear their different stories. I thought hearing from Charles Band during that panel was great.
Oh, he had so many cool insights because he's been in the industry for so long.
One of the first people to do like home video on a
Yeah.
major scale.
And hearing him talk about how things used to be and how things are different now and how like they're having to adapt and change their like business to make it work is super interesting.
And then hearing, like Greg Nicotero and Adam Green talk about stuff he did.
Yeah, being like, oh yeah, I watched that when I was a kid.
It was really fun. We went to a Halloween panel.
The Halloween panel was also really good.
We didn't go to the Scream one.
We couldn't get in.
And then
You're
like
missing out on the best panel.
I was saving it for last. Probably the most fun was the Hatchet panel.
Oh, it was so fucking funny.
It was great. Not all 15 people came.
No, but a lot of them
But
were
it was
there.
like 10 or 11. And it's a bunch of like horror icons that are friends.
Yeah.
And it was so fun because that panel was not very well emceed, I'll say.
It was not moderated in almost any way. It was
Yeah.
mostly Kane Hodder yelling.
But it was just like someone would come up and ask a question, and it was vaguely related to the series because I could tell a lot of people were in that room not because they liked the Hatchet series, but because they liked one of the people in the
Yeah.
thing, which kind of sucks. But and it was really awkward when people would ask for non-Hatchet related questions. But they handled it really well. Everyone would just started bouncing shit back and forth.
Oh, it was so funny.
You could really tell like half of them did podcasts together, like intermingling.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really comfortable like riffing off each other, and it just really showed.
I mean, I think the highlight was I don't remember her name because I'm bad with names, but the lady that plays the pregnant woman in Hatchet or in Victor Crowley, who was like in the water the whole time, was like, yeah, as you can tell from this scene, Adam Green hates women. He goes, "Shut up,
Shut
bitch."
up, bitch.
And it was so fucking funny. And that was most of the panel. Was
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I think the best part was watching like Kane Hodder and like Felissa Rose like going back and forth yelling at each
We're
other over
really good
something.
friends.
And then watching Perry Shen and Adam Green just dying laughing on the other side of the table because they also think it's as funny as we do.
They were just in the corner, just losing their minds.
It was so funny.
It was the most chaotic panel I've ever been to, but it was a lot of fun.
It was. Oh, and also Tom Holland was there because he's in the second
Oh,
one.
Tom Holland did not know what was going on.
It was awesome. I think Tom Holland might be my highlight of the convention. Bro is so fucking funny.
He's just perfect, like old man. I don't care.
Perfect crotchety old man.
Starts screaming. Apparently, well, who was it? Was it? Do you remember Felissa Rose or was it Adam Green that came up? And when Tom Holland got there, he was like, "I heard this guy start screaming about doing coke in the
Well, no,
90s."
that was Dave Sheridan,
Was it Dave Sheridan?
who showed up What, 20, 30 minutes late, it was just slow clapping in the back before taking a seat.
Which is not the first time I've seen that happen. But yeah, he came up and he was like, I heard this guy did coke in what, 89?
And Tom Holland just goes, 81.
And then was like, I don't want to repeat it. It was great.
It was an incredibly funny panel. Very,
Anyways,
very entertaining.
I'd recommend you go to a horror convention if you like horror. They're great. It is worth it getting VIP passes if you can, but you do have to buy early just because you get it an hour early. So even if there's crowds, you can get signatures from the people you like. We didn't do that this year because we just signed up late. But it's really great. Panels are really fun. Suggest you go to them if you want and just have a good time.
Yeah. There's a couple things I want to talk about before we end this convention talk. We did meet Perry Shen and get him to sign stuff.
Oh, he was so cool.
He was so cool. Such a nice dude.
I got, because it's apparently an actual book.
This is what I wanted to talk about.
In Victor Crowley, so the fourth Hatchet film, they have a book that Perry Shen's character, what is it, Adam Young?
No,
Andrew Young.
No, Young.
Is it Young?
I think so.
Sure. That his character, I'm going to say writes, but it gets ghost-written for him. And it's like a memoir of his life.
Yeah, and how he survived like the Honey Island Swamp massacres.
And is like the hero of that story where he actually hid in his like ambulance boat.
Which is not real, by the way. Didn't know that. I had to learn that from Adam Green himself.
But apparently that book is real.
Yeah.
Like Adam Green actually went and wrote it as like a prop. I assume for that movie. I bought it. He sold it. Adam Green sold it as booth. If you bought it, he signed it. And I've been reading some of it. It is the most rambly bullshit ever. Very funny. But Perry Shen like signed the cover as the character, so it's screen accurate.
So cool.
It's cool.
Such a nice dude. No, I got him and Adam Green to sign mine. I think I got Kane Hodder to sign last year. So I'm slowly amassing all of the Hatchet people. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I got the uncut pack of
Oh yeah,
Hatchet
we also
films.
both bought all the Hatchet films uncut, unedited from the Dark Sky,
which was
booth.
cool.
Really cool.
Because apparently that just came out.
Yeah, and Adam Green was he was complaining the whole convention about how Amazon cut his movies to shit when they put them on there.
Yeah. Anyways, lots of fun.
Yeah, really, really cool.
As always, I recommend
had a
it.
Really good time. Thought it was really sweet. Excited to go back next year. Okay.
You ready?
Podcast? Part of the podcast?
I guess it's the podcast part of the podcast.
Okay. Last week we watched Gremlins.
Yeah, tiny creatures. Woo!
As you can tell from Benjamin's voice, I probably shouldn't pick that category again because he doesn't seem very excited.
Let's say that was the best option. And
Gremlins is a good movie.
All downhill from here.
Well, when you pick the best movie in like a genre,
was the best by far.
I feel like I could pick Tiny Creatures again. It would be okay, but I won't because Ben's a baby.
Yes.
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you feel better. And I don't want to finish off Killer Objects because we only have one movie left.
What could it be?
I actually don't know. Well, I mean, it could be some things. Could be Rubber.
Could be Rubber. Could be Evil Bong by chance.
Did you buy Evil Bong when we were at the convention?
Maybe I did.
I don't remember.
Maybe I didn't.
Didn't buy Ginger Dead Man because we looked
I
at it
didn't.
for a while. So I'm gonna pick true crime type stuff.
Okay.
True crime type shit.
You did 3, it looks like.
Oh yeah, I have more spot. I have 2, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I picked 3 last time.
Yeah.
2. We'll go in order.
Today, we are going to be watching a film from 1997.
What is with 90s movies?
Yeah, they're grungy.
Okay.
Entitled Kiss the Girls.
I don't know what the fuck this is. See, this is why I like the podcast. I've never heard of this movie.
I know.
That's awesome. I love when this happens.
My description, first we got to set the mood. No?
No, I don't know what the fuck I don't know what the hell you're referencing.
That's how the song Kiss the Girl from The Little Mermaid starts.
You know what's crazy? I did that musical in high school.
So yeah, first we got to set the mood.
I was not Sebastian, though.
I'm a dancing crab. You've never seen me before. That's my secret.
Ben's been a dancing crab the whole time. No one knew.
Crab Rave.
Crab Rave.
It's my favorite song.
That's not true.
The anthem of my people. I'm sorry, this is going on a tangent. Length, it's an hour and 55 minutes long.
I love a long-ass movie at 8 o'clock in the
They're
morning.
all long this season, Bob.
I know. You've been saying that for
It's
a while.
unfortunate. It's rated R.
Oh, thank God.
IMDb gave it a 6.6 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Tomato meter gave it a 34%.
Oof.
And an audience score of 62%.
Why is such a low Why such a dip? It's like 60, then 30.
Sometimes that happens. For awards, it has 0 wins and 5 nominations.
Okay.
For our actors, we have Morgan Freeman as Detective Alex Cross.
Holy shit, Morgan Freeman?
Yup. One of his early roles.
This is cool. Okay.
Played Lucius Fox in The Dark Knight.
Back to Batman.
Did you know I have Batman right there? But the
don't
OG
need to-
Batman.
You don't need to do this every episode.
Not
of
the Dark
podcast.
Knight Batmans. Ashley Judd as Dr. Kate, I think it's McTiernan. She was Libby in Double Jeopardy. Carrie Elwes as Detective Nick Ruskin. They did Dr. Lawrence Gordon in Saw,
Oh.
one of the main characters. They were also Wesley in Princess Bride.
All movies I haven't seen.
It's under there. I own Princess Bride now.
Oh, you do? I forgot you bought that.
And he was also Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Also, I haven't seen that.
I think we've seen him on the podcast before.
Probably.
I don't remember what, though. Alex MacArthur as Detective Davy Sykes. He was Peter Rinaldi in Devil in the Flesh. Bill Nunn as Detective John Sampson. He was Joseph Robbie Robertson in Spider-Man 3. Bob's favorite Spider-Man movie.
No.
Because you like goth Spider-Man.
That's not true. You're the one that's always...
Pizza time!
Yeah, I was going to say, always quoting that shit.
But what about that sick scene where he does a dance
This
number?
fucking the emo Spider-Man dance. I can't handle it.
Let me put it this way. That movie is so Sam Raimi, and I love it for
It's
that.
bad.
I didn't say it was good. I said it was so Sam Raimi.
So true.
Jeremy Piven as Detective Henry Castillo. He was Ari Gold from Entourage. He was on 96 episodes between 2004 and 2011. Brian Cox as Chief Hatfield. He was Dr. Lecter in Manhunter. So the film that came out right before Silence of the Lambs, that's Red Dragon, but under a different title.
Yeah.
He plays Dr. Lecter.
That's cool. I thought I knew the name.
Well, I think you're thinking of Dr. Cox from
Nope.
Scrubs.
No. His name is Brian Cox, right?
Yeah.
That name is familiar, but I don't know why. But it makes sense for him to have played been in a movie before this one that was relatively popular. You know what I
He's
mean?
also like a famous actor.
That's the thing I'm saying. That's the point I'm getting at.
What are some things that people who watch this podcast might know? He was in The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, we haven't
He's
seen
the
that.
dad. I believe he's in Trick or Treat, which we
Oh.
also haven't seen.
So yeah, just
He's in The Ring. That's how we know him.
Ew.
I think he's the uncle, like the old guy.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Samara's uncle. That's my guess. Anyways, I'll show you his face because you'll recognize him.
Probably. Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyways, moving on from Brian Cox. Jay O. Sanders as Federal Bureau of Investigation Agent Kyle Craig. He played Frank Harris in The Day After Tomorrow, the 2004 film, not the classic one. Tony Goldwyn as Dr. William Rudolph. He was Gordon Gray in Oppenheimer. William Converse Roberts as Dr. Wick Sachs. He was Charles Wheeler in Bandits. Roma Mafia as Dr. Rucco. He was Dr. Liz Cruz from Nip and Tuck on 96 episodes between 2003 and 2010. Richard T. Jones as Seth Samuel. He was Cooper in Event Horizon. Good movie.
I haven't seen it.
You'll like it when we watch it.
I'm sure I will.
Might disturb you, but you'll like
Yeah,
it.
Okay, there it is. That's what I was waiting on.
Gina Rivera as Naomi Cross. She played Molly Abrams in Showgirls. Heidi Shands as Megan Murphy. They were Vivian in The Truman Show, as well as the Pride victim in Seven.
Oh, we haven't seen Seven.
No,
I've
we
heard it's really good.
Tatiana Ali as Janelle Cross. She was Ashley Banks from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on 147 episodes between 1990 and 96.
God damn.
Mana Savara as Cotty Pierce. She was Heather in American Pie. And Dora Diamond in Loser. And you'll recognize her face instantly because A, she was in a bunch of those early 2000s like high school sex comedy things. Like
Okay.
American Pie and stuff.
Sure.
But the reason you might know Loser, because I don't think a lot of people have watched that movie that weren't like teenagers when it came out. But the big thing about it is it served as the video used in the music video of a certain anthem of our generation, Teenage Dirtbag.
Oh.
If you've ever seen the Teenage Dirtbag like video,
music video.
the girl,
Yeah.
it's her.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know
now.
you know.
It's a good song.
Yep, it's in the movie Loser.
Didn't know that.
Everyone will watch it. And then finally, we have Helen Martin as Nana Mabel Cross. She was Lock Dog's grandma, and don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
What a fucking mouthful of a title. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
So do you know why it's that long?
No.
So it's basically a combination of multiple different like actual films that are set in like the hood, essentially,
Okay.
like a lower income area, and are just about the people who live there. All of them are like serious films,
Mhm.
but then, you know, a little group known as the Wayans brothers, people who did White Chicks
Oh, those guys.
and Scary Movie and stuff,
Okay.
decided to like make a spoof of that genre that was
Interesting.
popular at the time. So they took like 4 of the most popular names and crammed them together.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, so it's a movie.
It's a movie I've never heard of.
But knowing you like White Chicks,
It's funny.
I think at one point they get held up at gunpoint by some people in a car, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and they open like an ice cream truck, and they have a nuclear missile in the back, and they start pointing it at them.
Okay. I might like this movie.
It also has Terry Crews in it.
I like Terry Crews.
I know you do. Is it a good movie?
Probably not.
No.
I would say none of the films they've made are good movies. Maybe the first Scary Movie is okay, but, you know,
I don't know. I don't think they wrote it. I think they're just in it
I don't know.
because they are in it. They're the "What's up" guy.
Oh.
And
Okay.
then the gay guy and the killer couple.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so hopefully that's right. Anyways, director's Gary Fletter. He also directed Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead.
Another mouthful.
That is another mouthful, yes. It's just like an anime title.
Okay. Not really. I mean,
It is. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing with that genre is they don't have like blurbs on the back really, so they try to get people to read or watch their stuff by having a really long descriptive name, which functionally works. It's just a mouthful. David Class as the writer. He also wrote Walking Tall. This film had an estimated budget of $27 million.
that's pretty solid.
And for a film that I feel like a lot of people haven't heard of, it had a box office turnout of $60.5 million.
Not
So,
too bad.
Pretty decent. This film came out in the United States, and the tagline is, "A detective is searching for a deadly collector. His only hope is the woman who got away."
Okay.
Kind of cool. So, got a couple facts for this film. Firstly, principal photography began on April 16th, 1996. Production spent 2 weeks on location in North Carolina on the streets of Durham, in nearby county parks, and outside of Chapel Hill, a North Carolina residence. And they filmed there because like that's where the movie's set.
Oh,
So they were getting like actual exterior shots to do the film,
that's cool.
which is really cool to see because films don't always do that. With that being said, the majority of filming occurred in the Los Angeles area in like actual sets and stuff. But cool to see that they took 2 weeks to get it to look right.
Mm-hmm.
The film eventually premiered at the DeVille Film Festival on September 1997 before opening on 2,271 screens in the U.S. The following month, which is a lot for a movie. In fact, it was able to become the 28th highest film for domestic revenue in 1997,
Damn, that's actually pretty solid.
which again, very impressive because like this is one of those films where before I started looking, I didn't know it existed. And for a Morgan Freeman, that's like a Morgan
That's
Freeman film. That's kind of
crazy.
crazy. But this film did do well enough to get a sequel.
Oh.
It got a sequel titled Along Came a Spider, which was released in 2001, which does have Morgan Freeman reprising his role, which is cool to see. But the film was rebooted in 2012 with an adaptation called Alex Cross, and that did not have Morgan Freeman in it, which kind of sucks. Instead, they got Tyler Perry, which is a bit of a jump in actors.
Yeah, not what I was expecting you to say. I was expecting any other actor, honestly.
Yeah. Not that I have like a problem with Tyler Perry.
No, but Morgan Freeman to Tyler Perry is a leap.
But all I can think about is like the Medea franchise.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking about.
And I'm like, oh, you have to be a grizzled detective now.
Yeah, not some old woman.
But I think kind of the coolest thing about this movie is it's actually based on a novel
Oh, cool.
Specifically, James Patterson's best-selling novel from 1995 that has the same name. So along, Kiss the Girls.
So
And
this is
then-
based on a James Patterson book.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, it's actually the second book to feature the Alex Cross character.
Oh.
With the first book being Along Came a Spider. So the sequel film with Morgan Freeman is actually like the first book in the series.
Interesting.
So at least you get like 1 and 2
Mm-hmm.
with Morgan Freeman. That reboot, Alex Cross, is apparently based on the novel Cross. So it's a different one in that franchise.
Interesting.
But it's like a bunch of books. It's like 20 or something.
God damn. I mean, James Patterson has written so many goddamn books.
Yeah.
Bro is Stephen King levels of, like, authoring shit.
But anyways, are you ready to watch some Morgan Freeman detective stories?
Yeah, I thought we were going to... Look, can I be honest? When I pitched this category, I expected to watch Seven, which is a different Morgan Freeman detective story. So this will be cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, see, the thing about Seven.
Yeah.
They're releasing a 4K like next month.
Damn.
And I was
My
like,
hopes have been shattered.
we should save it so we can watch it in great
In
quality.
4K, yeah. That's fair.
So it's not on the board this season, but I went ahead and I found another Morgan Freeman film for you
Ah, thank you.
to make up for it.
Okay. We'll see you guys in a minute. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We just finished watching Kiss the Girls.
Yep, Kiss the Girls.
Yep.
What do you think?
Okay. So here's what I have to say. I don't know why this movie. Okay, well, actually, I kind of do. So I like the movie. I think it deserves more than like a 60%, but that 30% is really weird to me.
From critics?
Yeah, that's very strange. Like, I get how it's not like Silence of the Lambs level of like crazy, like, it's still really good, but it's not on the same level. You know what I mean?
It's not a masterpiece.
It's not a masterpiece, but I still really like the movie.
Well, I'm glad you liked it at least.
Did you like it?
I thought it was a fun time.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Ben hasn't seen this movie before. I learned that on the between the movie and
Yeah,
this.
I kind of said it before, but I'd never heard of this movie before I started doing this season. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Me too.
I thought it was much better than the reviews.
Yeah, it was way better than I
Hint at.
expected it to be, for sure.
At least the critic reviews. Yeah. I just, from what I can tell, I think the critics didn't like some of the story elements. Like, they didn't think it was enough mystery, and then it was too violent to be like a light mystery. Like, weird things where I think that it was too horror and, like, psychoanalytical
But that's
for
fun.
some
I
people.
like
But,
that.
like, that's what I liked about this film.
Me too.
So, I think it might be one of those cases where if, like, this is your kind of movie, you'll like it.
Sure.
And if it's not, you might be able to appreciate some of the performances, but it's not going to be your thing.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I kind of understand the 30% or so through that vein. But in either case, we're going to do our usual spiel. I'm going to give a quick, brief rundown of the film, and then we're going to get into actual spoilers for the movie when we get into actually discussing it. As always, we recommend you watch the movie without any spoilers,
yeah.
because that's the best way to enjoy the film. And I especially recommend it this time because this is like
It's like a mystery movie.
a mystery movie. It's not like a super in-depth mystery,
No.
but it's well executed. And I think knowing the solution to the mystery beforehand kind of
It would ruin it.
sucks. So please go watch it before we spoil it. But in either case, what is this film? Well, it's about Alex Cross. He's played by Morgan Freeman, and he's a detective who also has a doctorate in psychology.
Yeah.
And his job is to do like some psychoanalysis on cases. I think he refers to himself as a forensic psychologist.
Pathologist, I think.
Yeah. So, tries to like think like the killer to find him and stuff. And he also does things where he like talks down victims
Mm-hmm.
or killers or whatever.
Because he is a psychologist.
Yeah.
So he can, like, manipulate people in the right way.
But in either case, his niece goes missing. And she's been missing for 4 days
Mhm.
at the time he hears about it. And he says he's going to, like, go to where she's been found missing and help look for her. So he goes to, I think, Durham,
Mhm.
North Carolina, and joins the police case there as kind of like a working consultant to try to find this guy who's abducted a bunch of women
A bunch of women.
named Casanova.
Yep.
And one of them just happens to escape. and help out on the case. Worth a watch. With that being said, we are going to get into spoiler territory now, so final warning. Is there anything you want to start with, Bob?
Yeah, let's start with the opening to this film.
Okay.
Because that is something I want to talk about. Because, like, I have a lot of issues with films where it'll just tell you that someone is really good at something without ever actually showing you that. And so when they go to do it, you would just expect them to be good.
Oh, you mean the opening over the credits?
Yeah. The opening over the credits is really good.
Yeah, it's a great way to set, like, not only the tone of the movie, but, like, the creepy atmosphere of the killer.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of photographs he, like, assumedly took.
Of women he abducted.
But he's describing kind of like his MO for abductions, where he lives in a person's house for like a month or two, and then he takes them while they're sleeping. And I think he like kisses them first. Not great. But it's really cool because it's like the only time we really get a look into the killer's head, because we can hear him describing like from his perspective, like
what he's doing and why he's doing it.
I was living with them. I gave them a kiss. I loved them. Stuff like that. It's just, it really does set the tone of, oh, this is going to get really dark.
Really fast.
But then it cuts to some nice, like, pre-crime stuff. Like, before the story actually starts, we see Morgan Freeman working at a boxing gym and even, like, talking down a victim of, like, a domestic abuse case. The woman shot her husband. And just, like, really establishing that he's, like, a really good detective.
That's my thing. They do a great job of establishing the killer's thing, what they're doing in the open before you even get through the credits, which hats off to them because that's really cool. It like gets rid of a lot of the exposition work.
Yeah, it was quick too.
And lets you really focus on Alex Cross, the detective of the story. It's kind of a character piece in a certain way. Like it's really a lot about him struggling to figure this out and doing a lot of the groundwork. And it's really good. And I really love that they established all of his stuff so quickly.
Yeah, and I think they had to, because kind of the big issue with the mystery of this story is the way he solves stuff is very internalized. Like it's a lot of looking at photos and picking up patterns that are like he's learned from his experience as a psychologist and using those to, you know, figure things out about the case and take like steps forward, which is really fascinating to watch, but is not a very interesting way to solve a movie visually.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you see a guy look at a couple pictures and go, I've learned this.
And then it cuts to the new plot point.
Or flips through a book. And like that's, I think, something that would work really well in a novelization, because like we could hear the character's thoughts and like as the audience follow along as he figures stuff out. But again, doesn't really work well on camera. But again, I think the film's able to pull it off, because Morgan Freeman does a great job. He has a lot of like charisma in this role. He's very believable as like this suave detective dude, of which that cold open helps with. But also, I think it's allowed to get away with it because we have him established because of the cold open. We're kind of willing to buy in that he's very effective with what he does.
Yeah.
And because we understand like he's good at his job, it feels more believable when he figures out these like conclusions without a lot of like physically working through it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that this is, like you said in the pre-movie, a book adaptation. And in a book, all that stuff works beautifully because you get a lot more insight into a character's mind and what they're actually thinking. Because you can do inner monologue type stuff, which you can't really do in a movie without making it feel too like force-fed exposition-y.
Yeah, you can really tell this was a book adaptation.
Yeah, but I like it. Like, I like that it was a book adaptation because it gives it weird book qualities that I enjoy.
It has weird book vibes. I think the most notable one is that a couple times I would turn the Bob and I go, that's just book dialogue.
It's book dialogue.
Like, it's something that normal people don't speak that way.
But someone in a book would.
But if I was a writer, that's great dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes stuff like that just came through in the movie. But again, it worked because the characters delivered it well.
Yeah.
And so I think, well, it's not like the best executed adaptation of a book ever. Like, the transition isn't super smooth. I think they did a great job.
Well, because I think what they did is they took the elements of the book that were really important and distilled them down, but they didn't lose their like charm or quality. They're just a lot more condensed.
Yeah. In either case, we talked about Morgan Freeman. He is the main character of this film.
He is.
But there is kind of another secondary lead to this movie. I believe it's played by Ashley Judd. It's Kate McTiernan.
Okay, you got it. Well, you looked at your notes.
Dr. McTiernan. Oh, I know.
He had to look at his notes, people. I just wanted to put that out there. I didn't want to give you the credit of being like, oh, he knew. He didn't know.
But Kate's really interesting because kind of right around the time I think we get this whole thing established that like Morgan Freeman's character is going down there, we start to get the same background stuff we got for him for Kate.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. We just see her everyday life. Lots of little unique character things about her. Like she's a doctor. She's definitely very caring because we almost see her break down when she's talking to a patient's mom. She does MMA, like boxing and stuff. And those are all really cool things to establish because we follow her getting abducted.
Yeah, and it's fucking scary.
And we see like the first, 24 hours of her abduction before she escapes, which, oh my God, the escape sequence is brutal in the best way possible. But she gets away. And then it becomes a very different movie because it's not just Morgan Freeman trying to solve this case.
Now we have multiple people.
It's Morgan Freeman helping this woman who escaped and her helping him find the other missing women because she feels like she's a part of it. And then it becomes just a very nice like dynamic between the two.
Yeah, it's really good. And I think my favorite part is you looked at me and said, she escaped. You said, there's 55 minutes left. What is going on?
Yeah, because she escapes and like she's out of it.
Yeah.
She got drugged before she escaped. So like there's a good reason for this.
Yeah.
But I was like, what's going on? Because she leaves this place she's being held and she does like look around and everything. And she eventually jumps into a stream and I guess gets washed away. But there's like a good explanation of why she doesn't know.
Yeah, know where. Because you think
where she was.
As soon as she escapes, this man is cooked. He's
right.
absolutely doomed. She can just lead them right to the killer's lair where all these women are being held. But that's not the case.
And so a lot of it's like, okay, we still have to track down clues. And kind of the coolest thing I think this movie does is we get to see Alex Cross and Morgan Freeman's character jump around a lot.
Yeah.
And not necessarily do everything perfect the first time.
Or well.
Yeah. I think a lot of issues I have with traditional like mystery films is
it's too clean usually.
It's too clean.
It feels like the detective is just going to win because they are the detective. But in this, it really feels like Alex is like kind of fumbling around a little bit.
Yeah.
Really trying to figure his shit out.
And I think the reason for that, especially in movies, is that you have a limited amount of time. And it's easier to get the audience to buy into a straightforward story. Like where it has a natural progression, everything progresses the plot. And then you have your conclusion whether the detective like wins or loses. And this one just feels like it has a bunch of dead ends.
Yep.
Like he'll go on a search somewhere and then go a completely different area, which to me feels more realistic.
Oh yeah, it feels like real detective work.
I don't think it's necessarily the best representation of real detective work because man is running way out of his jurisdiction over and over
he
again.
He is not doing what he should be.
But, it feels more real. And I really appreciated that. Like, first of all, he's from what? Washington.
Yeah.
Like that's his precinct. And he goes to North Carolina to consult. And then he goes to what? LA?
Yeah.
For a while before flying back to North Carolina. And that back and forth is really cool.
That back and forth is really cool.
Especially because they do stuff which doesn't feel like it's completely related to the plot. A big run through is that they suspect Casanova is actually this other serial killer that's been operating for a year in LA.
Yeah.
And so that's why they go there. But we kind of know there might be two people. So it feels like this, we found a killer, but is it the right killer? Are they related? Are they not? And it doesn't necessarily end well.
No.
So it's like, now there's a completely different investigation plot going. And I thought that was a cool way to keep interest in stuff.
And that's my thing is like every time you think that this movie, like, a lot of the mystery elements are fairly obvious once you figure stuff out, and the movie is kind of spoon-feeding you clues throughout. But
Oh, yeah. I guessed who the killer was the second they walked on screen.
yeah, well, you're just lucky like that, on God.
No, it's because... I'm going to put this out here. That actor has some energy that was really coming through.
But the movie does a really good job of giving you the stuff you need to figure stuff out, and right as you think you figured it out, the movie will either A, reveal it to you, and you'll find out if you're right or not, or B, reveal it to you and like completely throw you for a loop and just like you have no idea what the fuck's happening now. And that's cool. It's one of the better mysteries that we've seen on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it's such a busy film that they'll give you little tidbits, like in the character establishing phase, that like you obviously remember, but you don't think about.
Yeah, until it's relevant, and then you really think about it because it's important now.
Like the double killer thing was one. Because until they said it, like right before they said it, we kind of forgot.
There's a clip in the outtakes of us just yelling how we figured it out.
The killer like talked to someone else about his kidnapping photos.
Yeah.
Because it was such a throwaway scene, but I wrote it off as him just selling weird sex photos online.
Which is what it was, kind of.
But it was just, oh no, he's talking to another killer. That was pretty cool.
It's cool. I mean, this is post-Scream. It did the Scream thing. Like, there are two of them.
Yeah.
Except it's a procedural crime drama instead of a weird meta movie about teens. I don't know. I thought it was really cool. That's the thing is, like, while this movie is not perfect and does not have, like... I think my problem with it is it doesn't have any, like, deeper nuance other than, like, being a procedural crime drama. Like, that, it's very surface level in that way. While it does take some of the elements of that and flip it on its head and do something interesting, it's not as crazy in depth like something like Silence of the Lambs.
No.
Or shocking in a way that Silence of the Lambs is, you know? Like, I was uncomfortable because I don't like seeing women get abused. But it wasn't, like, psychologically unsettling like something like Silence of the Lambs is in every step. But it was still very cool.
Yeah. I think that's a good transition to kind of one of the big disclaimers I'll say with this film. Is it's, like, fairly realistic with its portrayals of, like, violence and assault, which is cool to see. Most films don't do that because it, like, actually makes people uncomfortable.
Yes.
And lots of horror show kills, but because they're cartoonish, they're fun to watch.
This is not fun to watch.
But, you know, making them fairly realistic, I think makes them harder for people to watch. And, you know, because it does that with killing, but also, like, sexual assault and stuff, this movie can be pretty hard to watch at times. But it does give the film a more serious tone that I think really meshed well with the plot.
No, I mean, it has to be taken seriously because, I mean, it's fucking Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. I can tell why, like, when I was looking for films, and I was like, okay, is there any, like, disturbing films like Seven? This one came up a couple times. Because, like, Bob was on edge whenever
Especially
scenes
the
came
beginning.
up. Yeah.
The beginning is rough. At least for me.
Dude's a creepazoid.
Dude is we haven't talked about the dude. The killer in this movie? Well, one of the killers, I guess. Now we spoiled there, two of them. Casanova looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, he, like, paints his skin with white, like, matte paint. And then he's got this weird white half mask that leaves his
lips open.
His lower chin uncovered and his bottom lip. But the mask has, like, an upper lip that's huge.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool design. And I think painting his skin white is really cool because it, like...
It matches the mask.
It matches the mask, but it also does a good job of, like, disguising who he could possibly be. Because, like, there's no discernible features.
Yep. It's good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I mean, I think that is part of the reason they did that is because, like, the movie sort of has, like, a whodunit sort of mystery element in there at some points where it's like they have a bunch of suspects, like a shit ton of them.
And some of them feel a lot more likely than others.
And the movie does a fun job of playing it up and, like, making you kind of wonder who it could possibly be. And the fact that you can't tell who the killer is at all because of the, like, mask and the paint and everything. And it works. It's cool.
Now, one of the few, like, negative comments I have about this film, and it's not, like, a bad thing per se, but I will bring it up, is that this is technically the second book in a series.
So true.
And there is things in this film where I can tell there's a backstory that I am not aware of.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like, explain it well to us. And I think that's really cool and is sold by this movie because it feels like we've just taken a look into a world that's already running. Like, these people have lives outside of this story.
I mean, it makes it feel real.
But it did get a little confusing at times. And
yeah.
I really wonder if when we eventually get to, Along Came a Spider, technically the first one.
If we'll get some of the background stuff we're missing.
If
in this
stuff
film.
will be explained, because there's just a bunch of little tidbits dropped where I'm like, oh,
Well, it's like Alex Cross backstory is what it is, and like I want to know because I find him compelling.
like we meet some of his family, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
how they're related to him. He might have a kid.
Maybe he might be married. He has a wedding ring
I
on.
don't think he's married.
He has a wedding ring on.
He's a best-selling author, which was the most
It was so funny.
I wrote a book kind of thing.
So good.
But yeah, it was a little weird and confusing, but it did really sell the world.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, it makes it feel really real, and that's a big benefit to the movie. Is it feels really down to earth and gritty and realistic because a lot of these women don't look great. They look fucked up, and that's kind of the point.
They look like they haven't had a good time.
Ever. It's atrocious. No, I like this movie. I think it's really fun.
Yeah. I think the only other thing I want to say here, really quick, I thought the soundtrack was good.
The soundtrack is good. I really like it. The music choice over the end of the last big confrontation scene is so good.
Especially because I think it was playing in universe.
It was. So it makes sense to be playing it, but it's the perfect juxtaposition of happy music,
Because it
horrible
doesn't
scene.
fit the tone at all.
Yeah, I mean it's the same reason that the Kill with the Unicorn in Black Christmas is really good. Because it's there are kids outside Christmas caroling playing over this woman being murdered horrifically.
The glass unicorn.
With a glass unicorn. It's a great scene, and this does a very similar effect.
But, the other thing I'll say about that ending is there is a problem presented. There's a last minute killer reveal, and there's we're down to the last minute, which is generic but fun to see.
Yeah,
And
makes sense.
it puts our characters in a position where they have they're in between a rock and a hard place,
No more options,
and they choose option 3,
which doesn't exist.
which it's something they've made up, no one expects it, which is a cool way to end your book.
Yeah,
But the solution is so ludicrous,
it's
and I love
fucking
it,
insane.
especially because I think it might work.
I think you're right. I think we're right. I think it would work, but that doesn't make it any less ridiculous.
It's just really ridiculous.
I think my problem with it is that it's so zany and ridiculous in an otherwise grounded and gritty detective movie.
But it's such a great book ending.
It's a great way to end a book, but this isn't a book.
And then
I just watched a man get covered in.
don't say it.
I don't want to say it, but it's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. And then the movie.
Imagine being the guy that died.
The movie cuts to the credits.
The credits. That's the end of the
And
movie.
you were like, "That's it."
That's the end of the movie.
There's no follow up.
No, there's no. They don't clean up any of the mess.
It's just a little bit what the fuck. But again, I can tell this was adapted from a book, and it's an insane way to end this movie. But it's fun. I had a good time.
I also had a good.
I
time,
was
but
not disappointed with the ending.
I don't say I'm disappointed. I was shocked, but not in a shocking way. I was shocked because it was stupid.
Good thing we like garbage.
I mean, yeah, it's still good. I still like it.
Do you have anything else to say?
Cool sets. We haven't talked about sets. We mentioned it in the pre-movie, but I do love that they actually went to Durham, North Carolina and filmed a bunch of stuff on site because all of that stuff looks really good and makes it feel really, really real. And I applaud them for that because they're filming in the middle of the fucking woods, and that must have sucked.
Yeah, especially because it looks cold.
It looks fucking frigid. That's it.
Okay. I guess we'll go to recommendations.
Yeah, I feel like Morgan Freeman. Bro carries this film. He is a highlight of
He
this
does a
movie.
great
He does
job.
a fantastic job. Not that everyone else does bad, but it's I said earlier, it's kind of like a character piece a little bit. So he's really good. I like him.
I'll say there's a couple really good actors in this that steal the show. Morgan Freeman's probably the main one.
Yeah.
But also Ashley Judd because she's
also
just
very good.
right there. I think the other ones I would say is Cary Elwes. So he plays Detective Nick Ruskin,
Oh, yeah, he's good too.
guy from Robin Hood Men in Tights and Princess Bride. He's a more famous actor,
Mm-hmm.
and he's one of the side characters. But I think he does a really good job in the scenes he's in.
Yeah.
And then the other character that I think does a really good job, again, because it's a more famous actor, is the police chief,
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
He is really good.
Also, again, minor character in the background,
But
doesn't have a lot of
he's
scenes.
in,
Really good.
yeah.
So if you like any of those people, I would recommend it for them. But especially Morgan Freeman and, Jesus Christ, Ashley Judd.
Yeah, they're both really good. If you like Silence of the Lambs or like true crime investigation detective stuff, I think it's pretty good. I liked it. I think it's solid on that front. Yeah, I really don't know if I have any other recommendations because it's not. I guess if you want like a more of a gritty movie, like this is a very like real gritty sort of detective movie, and not like a sort of action heavy sort of detective.
No.
Movie, which I think is fun. I think it's cool. And last recommendation, because it's something we can talk about. If you like a movie with cool cinematography, there's a scene in this movie that Ben and I were like, this is the coolest way to shoot a scene like this.
Yeah, I'll just tell you. There's like 3 people talking, and instead of doing like cuts to each of their faces or like a wide shot, they do like a dolly spin
In the middle of them.
It just looks cool.
It's just, the cinematography in this film is really good. And that was a really cool scene. So, that's it.
All right, for my recommendations, again, if you like any of like the people in this film, I think everyone does a pretty decent job, whether or not you like the movie. So if you're a fan of them, I think it is worth a watch, especially for like Morgan Freeman's performance or Ashley Judd. Otherwise, if you're a fan of like more slow investigative pieces, like Silence of the Lambs, I think this is a good film to check out. There's a reason they're both in the category this season. I think they have similar vibes. But I think my main recommendation here, because Bob didn't mention it, if you're a fan of like Alex Cross, this is like a book series.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you haven't seen the movie adaptation,
That's so true.
go give it a watch.
I might pick up this book.
It's the second book in the series.
I might pick up the first book.
Wait until we watch the movie.
You piece of shit. I'm trying to get back into reading, and this is something I might read.
I know, but do you really want the spoilers?
No,
for
that's
the
what I'm
other
saying.
movie?
I don't want the spoilers.
So,
God damn you.
It's kind of sucky that they did them out of order, but I guess this book sold better than the original.
So they started here.
But super cool that Morgan Freeman's in it. So
Yeah.
check it out. Rate it.
Shit. Okay.
I don't think it's a perfect movie.
I don't think it's a 5. That's what I was about to say. I don't think it's a 5, but I did like it. And I don't get the low critic score. Like my brain can't wrap my noggin around that.
No, I fully get it. This movie has problems, but you and me both enjoyed what are objectively the problems.
That's fair.
Like the stuff where it's like, okay, I can tell this wasn't adapted well from a book, so it feels like a book.
Yeah.
And we're very forgiving about stuff like that. We like weird style things. We like
True.
kind of cheesiness.
Yeah.
Like that ending as a
Objectively, it's pretty awful.
as like a serious critic, I would look at that and go, what a shit ending. Or I would look at this mystery and go, nothing is like actually happening on screen. Our characters are just figuring stuff out and then go in guns a-blazing. Like that's not great. So I can't understand why, if you don't like jive with this film,
I guess my point is
you don't like it.
I don't feel the same way that they do.
But I don't feel that way either.
And I can't get into their perspective. I get like the 60% audience score. That makes sense. This feels like for an average person, this is like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that feels pretty
I mean,
normal.
the IMDb was like, what, 6.5,
Yeah, like
6.8?
I get it, but I like it more than that. Like I objectively, I enjoyed the film more than a 6 out of 10. So I'm somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5. But I think I'm going to go to 4.5.
Okay.
Because honestly, while the mystery elements are fairly like plotted out and foretold and you can see them coming, the setup is incredible for most of it. Honestly, the setup for the beginning scene with the first scene with Alex Cross to the last scene with Alex Cross are the exact same scene, just flipped. And it's really good. And I like it. Like there's tons of stuff where you can look at this and go, I can tell this is from a book because stuff is being foreshadowed and set up at every step of the way. Every second, something is telling you that something else is going to happen. And that's really cool. And I like it. Because, I don't know, I guess it just scratches my brain in a certain way that, like, I love puzzles. And this movie felt like a puzzle. And that was really cool.
Fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.
Fair enough.
A little bit lower than Bob. And I think my reasoning here is that I enjoyed this movie. I had a really good time. I thought it was a fun watch. But I do understand, like, a lot of the issues someone could have with this film. It's not like a great mystery film, and a lot of the characters feel pretty lackluster outside of Alex Cross and Kate, which kind of sucks in like a character heavy piece. Like I want some good performances from everyone else, including the villain, who like really doesn't have a good villain performance in the same way like Hannibal Lecter does in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that is because, like, the killer, we don't know who they are.
Yeah, it works for this movie, but it can be disappointing.
That's fair.
I guess my main takeaway is, like, I like this movie. I had a good time, But in the grand scheme of things, while I think it was a faithful book adaptation, I don't think it was a good book adaptation. And there's
That's fair.
just a lot of little weird things where, again, I like it, but I can tell that that's not like a... There's definitely problems there.
Mm-hmm.
And those problems could really turn off some people. They might not bug other people. That's why it gets a 60. Or some people might be able to look at them and go, this is fun.
Yeah.
Like
that's
me
the
and
boat
Bob.
we are in.
Yep.
Which I always hate that when I know in a movie is objectively a bad movie, but I go, but I really like it.
I don't think it's an objectively
No,
a bad
not,
movie.
Not this one, but like in general.
But
you
it's
know
just,
what I mean?
I think it's objectively a so-so movie. But I think it gets less attention than it deserves.
So true. Honestly, agreed. When you told me this movie and I never heard of it, why have I never heard of this movie? This is a good movie.
Especially because it has Morgan Freeman in it.
That's the other
and he's
big thing.
famous.
This is even post like big breakout role for Morgan Freeman. Like he'd already been in Seven.
Yeah, he'd already been in, he'd done his big stuff.
Yeah.
I think he broke out in like 87 or something.
So it's like Morgan Freeman's in this and no one's talking about it?
And this came out in what?
97.
97. It was after he did Seven.
Yeah.
Which I think was the bigger role for him,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, than this movie. But yeah, it's just weird to not hear about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, outtakes.
Yeah, we might have 2.
Well, there's definitely one going in the episode because it was so fucking funny. 2. At least 2 in the episode because they were so good.
See? I said 2.
Ah, you're right. Okay. Well, see you guys in a minute.
See you in a minute.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Kiss the Girl so far. I really love this movie. I think it's super duper fun. I think Morgan Freeman does a fantastic job. But without further ado, let's get into the outtakes. This first clip is proof that it always comes back to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Nice.
God damn, that was sweet.
It was smart.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fucking Range Rover.
It is. This is Dennis Reynolds.
It's a serial
Holy
killer
shit.
car.
I didn't even think about that. These tools.
His tools. He tied her up.
Oh my god.
It was weird fetish shit.
I can't believe it. This next clip is Ben and I making a wild realization about this film before it even tells us. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What?
There are 2 of them. Why was the dude in the place uploading files? There's 2 of them.
Working together, and that's how the other guy got the drugs.
And that's why they're like bi-coastals, because there are 2 of them. There's one here and one in LA.
They're competing.
They're competing! Holy shit. This next clip is our reaction to the very end of this film. That's so fucking stupid.
I think that would work, though.
It would work. It would work. It would 100% work.
It's pretty
Does
smart.
that make it less fucking stupid?
No, but it's pretty cool.
No. It
You know, in celebration, I'm going to go make some chocolate milk.
you know what? This movie's so dumb.
You love it, though. Don't pretend like you haven't had a great time.
It's a good movie, but that's an inane way to deal with that situation.
But it's a book thing, because that's like such a cool writing thing to go like, oh, I'm in this unwinnable situation. How do I win? I break the rules.
Well, I think what's even funnier is I literally earlier pan past the milk. I said, "Look, moo juice."
Look, moo juice.
Oh, that's just the end of the movie?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get any wrap up. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
We had our Halloween Horror Awards episode
It came out
right before this.
on Halloween, yes.
Yeah. Which I think was what, yesterday?
Wednesday? Thursday? I don't know.
Yeah. And this is coming out Thursday at midnight, so kind of
Friday
yesterday.
at midnight. What are you talking about? Thursday at midnight? No. Friday at midnight.
Whatever. It came out Friday morning.
True.
That is true.
That's true. You actually got, yeah, okay.
Anyways, on the Halloween Horror Awards, first of all, you should watch it if you want like kind of the big recommendations for the podcast this year. I think that's the real reason we do it.
Yeah.
But it's fun for us. But the other thing we did is we decided what franchise we're eventually going to cover on the podcast, which was Evil Dead.
Yeah.
That'll be our first podcast we're covering here. Our podcast, first series we're covering here. So we have what? Evil Dead 3, so Army of Darkness,
The
Evil
remake.
Dead, the remake, and then Evil Dead Rise. I don't think we're going to cover whatever the newest film is because it's not out yet.
Well, when it comes out, we'll get there.
But I guess when it comes out, we'll just cover it whenever it comes out on disc.
Or we'll go to the movies.
We might see it in theaters. In either case, I don't know when those are going to come out because we're going to record all 3 of those first.
And then edit them and then put them out whenever they're done.
But we'll announce that when it happens. But we're going to try and actually get it out sooner rather than later.
Hopefully.
Otherwise, we got a bunch of holiday stuff coming up. My birthday's coming up in November.
Yep.
So I get to choose a movie. I already got it chosen out.
Did you tell me what it was before we watched it last time? No, you revealed it on the episode.
Nope.
Okay.
You have to tell me. You have to tell me your birthday.
Yeah,
movie.
because you got to buy the movie.
But I don't have to tell you mine, which is part of the fun. So I got that picked out. We also have a Thanksgiving movie.
A
right
Thanksgiving movie? Not.
I'm
we're
sorry.
not watching Thanksgiving.
A Thanksgiving movie right after it.
We will not be watching Thanksgiving.
Also got
again.
that one picked out. Got a Christmas movie
Yeah.
and a New Year's movie.
And then after that, Valentine's Day?
And then, yeah, after
And
that,
then St. Patrick's Day.
we get some other holidays early in the year. But we're going to work on those. So that'll probably push back Evil Dead's release for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll come out eventually.
Eventually.
Otherwise, usual spiel. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other podcast-specific sites. If you're checking us out on any of those, please give us a quick rating or review. It really helps us out with being seen by other people on those platforms. Otherwise, if you really want to help us out, you could recommend us to a friend. You know, maybe sneak into their bedroom at night when they're sleeping and whisper in their ear.
No, Ben, we can't say things like this on the podcast.
Check out Beware the Board.
No, Ben, we are not culpable if anyone does this.
We'd really appreciate
No,
that.
we wouldn't.
Especially Bob. Bob is like, yes, that's what I want to do.
That's like my biggest fear, dog. I hear things
Otherwise,
in my attic sometimes and I get scared there's a man in there.
it's me in the attic.
No!
I'm in the attic right now.
So am I. I guess we are the men in the attic.
Otherwise, check us out on YouTube, which, while not the best for audio-only content, is a great way to support us. You know, we can see your likes, subscriptions, likes. Said likes twice. Subscriptions. Said that again. Is there one more thing?
Likes, subscriptions,
Views. That's the one I'm looking for.
Oh,
See your views.
the V word.
Sorry, I'm really tired.
I wonder why.
I don't know. But, you know, we really like to see that. It's probably the best way for us to gauge like how much you guys are watching our content and liking it. And that's really great for keeping us going motivation-wise. Because this takes a lot of time.
And effort.
Like, it's fun. It's our hobby. But it does take a lot of time. And seeing you guys are watching is pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Otherwise, YouTube does have a couple cool tools that you might want to check out. There's a bell button, which lets you get notified whenever we post new stuff. So in case we're doing like a holiday episode or releasing Evil Dead episodes, which don't come out on our usual time, it's a pretty way to keep track of that, especially if we don't announce it in advance because we forget sometimes.
Sometimes. Most of the time.
Most of the time. There's also a search button on our channel, which lets you search keywords in all our videos. So in case you're looking to see if we've covered a specific movie, that's probably the best way to do it. Because we've covered like over 170 now.
Approaching 200.
It's a lot of movies, and that's a good way to see what's been covered. Because I'm going to be honest, I hardly remember everything
Sometimes
we've
someone
covered.
mentions a movie, I go, oh yeah, I watched that for the podcast 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, God, we've been doing this for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And that being said, the big thing with YouTube is it's one of the 2 places to communicate with us at. You can do that in the comment section of a specific video if there's something you want to talk to us about in that episode. Or you can go to Twitter, @BewareTheBoard, and go talk to Bob. Tell him how much you love him.
Oh, okay. Well,
And-
only 2 people love me.
That you do anything for him.
And you're not, neither of them are here.
But remember, it's only good as long as he doesn't break your rules.
Yeah. That scene made me really uncomfortable, Ben.
Yeah, I know.
That scene got me fucked up. Please don't be weird in my DMs. Thank you. Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter at BewareTheBoard. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, we post a spoiler post for that week's worth of episodes, which is a hidden movie cover you can reveal, so you can watch the film before we do. So when you listen to the episodes, you don't get any spoilers, or we're being fake about stuff, you know what we're talking about. Then on Fridays, or whatever other day episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode on our Twitter. So if you ever missed an upload or want to know someone up, there's always a link there. Last thing, we do short form content for the show over on TikTok at BewareTheBoard and on YouTube Shorts. So if you like short form content and want to support the show, check us out there.
We haven't made any new stuff for a while.
Yep. So true.
Subtle jab.
That's Shaun of the Dead one is still half built. Because it would take me 10 years to finish that one.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Did you post those 2 memes I made?
Oops.
Oops.
I forgot.
Hopefully they'll be out by the time you get this episode. If not, you can shame Bob because they were for killer condoms.
Yeah, the episode 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's coming out. Yeah, my bad. Honestly, I forgot. Well, we went to the convention.
And we were in line for like an hour and I kept asking you if you posted it. And you were
no,
I'll do it.
Nah, I'm bad about that stuff, man. You have the login. You could post them yourself.
I think you should post them.
Okay. Episode over. End of the podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.